So with this recent Batman versus Superman news, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Oh, and by the way, I felt it was necessary. We have a new member, Ryan Minnick. He's our new anchor man on the show. So this is very exciting for us. So give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, Alex.
So what are you guys' thoughts on this Batman versus Superman?
With this casting, I just don't think they're going to go physical with Lex Luthor. Because if you see him in interviews, he's a real thin guy. He doesn't. I mean, I feel like Gal Gadot could bulk up more than he could.
But do you think they're going to give him like the suit he has?
I know.
Like the suit, he usually wears.
But I mean, even though they set it up perfectly when Zod takes his armor off on Lex's building, when it's still building or whatever, they set it up perfectly because that little part around his neck, Zod's neck, reminded me so much of Zod's suit. I mean, of Lex's suit. So he could just give it a little paint job or whatever and do that. But I seriously doubt. I don't know now. Unless he really gets built or something, he just wouldn't even look right.
I think Jesse Eisenberg is a really interesting choice for Lex Luthor. Considering how young he is, I mean, maybe they're trying to portray him as a younger Lex Luthor, and maybe even with hair. Maybe he's not bald yet.
With the casting of Jeremy Irons as
oh, brilliant! I'm sorry, that's not like an interesting with
I mean, he's a world-class actor. He's an Oscar winner.
Yeah, I mean, even. He's just there's no interesting direct. I mean, they're using the Alfred from the comic book. They're using that probably the same Alfred from what he was like in the Dark Knight trilogy and everything.
Yeah, I agree. I think that choice seems to fit more. They're not doing anything bold, nothing shocking to us like Jesse was.
Yeah, that was. I think they made a good choice. I don't think anybody can complain about that. That's nothing to complain about. People can complain about Ben Affleck. They can complain about Gal Gadot.
Yeah, but even those Ben Affleck complaints are kind of unfounded sometimes.
Yeah, I disagree.
I can go through and I can just shred people.
I know, but I'm saying I don't think this is going to get any complaints. I think he's a good choice. He does great voice work, with Scar. I keep calling him Scar. But, yeah, he's a great actor, and I think they made a good choice. And maybe they'll make him be able to fight, because a lot of times he can fight.
Seriously, I don't know. I just don't think. What if he fights Batman?
Has that ever been done in the movies?
No, not in the movies.
That'd be a really interesting angle.
Because a lot of times Alfred is supposed to be a trained fighter.
I'm still thinking that Lex is going to be the Oscorp.
Like a protector of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of people are saying maybe Timothy Dalton, who played James Bond, in the 80s. Or, it's people like that. Maybe they'd have to wait a few
Alfred
years.
has like a secret agent background or something, and that's why they hired him.
That's part of it. They've done that.
Hired him as a butler because
he could protect Bruce when they're out.
I mean, that sounds a little stereotypical.
Yeah,
spy,
it does, but
I mean,
they can't make him MI6 because then.
Or maybe he was in the League of Assassins.
That'd be cool. But yeah, so any final thoughts on this?
Not much that I can go more into.
Yeah, I think it's just pretty interesting so far, and I'd like to see how Jesse pans out.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Jesse Eisenberg, I was kind of weary when I heard that information, but he might be good, he might be bad. It's definitely an interesting choice, which Warner Brothers is making a lot of for this movie.
Next, we're going to talk about Super Bowl movie trailers for this coming Sunday. I'm going to focus on two, The Amazing Spider-Man and Captain America. Alright, I'm especially excited for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because I was a big fan of Amazing Spider-Man 1. I like it a lot better than the original Spider-Man series with Tobey Maguire. I think Andrew Garfield is just more dynamic and just a better fit for Spider-Man. So I'm excited for this reboot. I think the series will be good, and for me, Tobey Maguire was too feminine for my taste to play a superhero, and Spider-Man, he didn't portray him well. And so The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I've heard, is they're being very ambitious with this film. They're trying to get 3 villains in the plot. And so that's very, very hard to do. It might be too much going on. Who knows? We'll see how that pans out. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'm definitely excited to see where the relationship between Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy progresses. I think this movie will be very interesting between those two, considering the cliffhanger ending. The introduction of 3 villains in this movie, the character Mary Jane has been pushed back probably to the next one. I know she will not be in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, so I'm expecting another one after this. assuming that the second one does well. So I'm very excited for this one. Captain America is also coming out this year in April, and I've heard great things about this movie. They've already speculated, and they're talking about how well it's going to do in theaters, and they're trying to bring the directors back to already make a third movie. So that says something about it if the second movie isn't even out and they're trying to sign them on for a third one. So I think that no doubt Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier will be a must-see.
The race for the Oscars continues to go on, with Alfonso Cuarón winning the Best Director at the DGAs, otherwise known as the Directors Guild of America, where other directors give awards to directors who they think are fitted for those awards. Alfonso Cuarón won, of course, for Gravity, which he did back in October, which came out back in October, and is nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Has a lot of nominations, Best Special Effects. So a lot of people are speculating that Alfonso Cuarón will win the Best Director, and they say the only person really who's in contention aside from him is Steve McQueen, the director of 12 Years a Slave. I think it's between those two. I think Alfonso might win. I think Aizer probably will win, especially since a bunch of directors thought he was the best. But the Oscars might just do, I don't know, the popular thing, because Steve McQueen would, if he won, he'd be the first black director to win Best Director, which would be really cool. But you have to give it to who deserves it more, and I feel Alfonso Cuarón probably deserves it more to direct a movie of Gravity's stature, with all the special effects and a story that doesn't have too much story in it. You know, it's about a woman who needs to get home, and that's mainly what it's about, but he made it interesting. So I think he probably deserves it the most. But yes, a lot of times people who win the Best Director at the DGAs and win Best Director at the Golden Globes will probably win at the Oscars, which the one everybody cares about. Other news, we found out the Maleficent trailer that came out during commercials during the Grammys this Sunday. The Maleficent Dream trailer had a song, "Once Upon a Dream," classic Sleeping Beauty song sung by Lana Del Rey, who's very interesting. She's a peculiar woman. I remember she had that weird performance on Saturday Night Live a couple years ago. They said it was the weirdest performance ever done on there. But she did the Once Upon a Dream, which was kind of a haunting sound. It didn't sound very Disney. It was the opposite of the trailer from 2.5 weeks ago, where the Disney-fied, where they showed you, clips from the old movie as if you forgot what happened in the movie, and it was so stupid. It was guided towards 5-year-olds, but they wanted adults to watch it, but really it should have been guided towards 5-year-olds. But this trailer was the opposite of that trailer. It was more adult. The music was weirder. Maleficent, when she first walks in, well, she has that weird, sinister smile. It's pretty cool. A lot of the cinematography in it looks really cool. All the special effects, the war scene, they didn't show that in the Disney trailer. So I don't know if this movie is going to be rated PG or PG-13. I'm leaning towards PG-13 just looking at it. I hope it is, because Maleficent is she's one of Disney's most iconic villains, but she's also one of Disney's most ruthless, evil, and deceitful villains. So, well, that's the evil queen, but Maleficent is definitely probably the most evil Disney's villains, up there with Scar and the evil queen. Maleficent, it looks a lot darker, and it's guided, I think, towards a more adult audience. It's kind of doing what the Snow White and Huntsman did, or attempted to do back in 2012. Although I thought that movie was not very good, I thought the best part of it was the villain, the evil queen, played by Charlize Theron. She was the best part, and a lot of audiences were rooting for her. I was rooting for her because Kristen Stewart's a terrible actress. So, I mean, she was bad in that movie, and she was bad in every other movie she's ever been in. So, it was no big surprise, but she managed to make a hero she managed to make you not root for the hero. You wanted the villain to win because Charlize Theron was killing it in that movie. She was really good. She brought her A game, and I think this Maleficent is a good role for Angelina Jolie. I think it's perfect for her. I mean, she's an Oscar winner. She's won 2 Oscars. Her second Oscar she just won for the Humanitarian Award because she had the double mastectomy for breast cancer. But she's won an Oscar for just acting, and then she was also nominated for one, I don't know, 15 years ago. But yeah, she's definitely a really, really good actress, and I think she'll do well in Maleficent. Another thing, recently the Sly Cooper trailer came out. It's set to come out in 2016, so it was really interesting that they had a trailer for it, and it's just now 2014, barely 2014, and they already have a trailer for a movie that's not coming out till 2016, and we don't even know when in 2016. For all we know, it might not come out till November of 2016. So it was, and especially the length of the trailer it was more than 2 minutes, and as a player of the Sly Cooper games, I've been playing them for 10 years as of this year, and it brought back a lot of the magic, those games had. When I watched the trailer, it had a lot of the same things that they had, and it had a lot of the banter and cleverness, and I really enjoy those games, and I think I'll enjoy the movie. It's definitely guided towards a younger audience, but I think some of the comedy it had, if you watched it, you noticed they were trying to get Murray a donut. Murray's the hippo. They were trying to get him a donut, and then Sly saw the police station, and he looked at the O, and he figured, police, they love donuts. So, they robbed the police place, they got all the donuts, and the police, it was worth enough to go chase after them. So I thought that was really funny and clever and smarter than a lot of animated movies. I tend to not care about animated movies unless they're made by Disney / Pixar or DreamWorks. They tend to be crappy if they're not, animation-wise and story-wise. Look at Free Birds or The Nut Job, crappy movies, but they keep making money. And I thought it was also interesting that this movie is being made by Sucker Punch, who made the first 3 games of Sly Cooper in 2002, 4, and 5. They didn't make the one that came out last year, but they made, that was Sanzaru, but they made the first 3, and I think the best games. So it's interesting that they're making the movie as well. So I think that'll be good to have the team all back again. So I think this is good news. It's promising. So I'm very excited for Sly Cooper. Tell us your thoughts, comment, subscribe, and like.